Okay, I think I'm live. For all of you that are here, great. Good to see you. Happy Monday, everybody. Welcome to Job Search Live, first of the year. It's the first one of January. So I want to thank you all for being here. Thank you. I'm going to just wait for a couple people to show up. So if you are here now, please put in the chat, just tell me hi and let me know that you're here and where you're from if I don't know you. It'd be great. Hey, welcome everybody who's here. Happy Monday. Today is January 4th, and I can't believe we've made it through to a new year. Happy 2021. Good riddance 2020, right? Whew. Okay. So thank you all for being here. It's great to see you. I see there are a few people here, and if you want to let me know that you're here, that would be great. Just put in the comments. Say hi. Tell me what you're looking forward to this year, whatever. And while I'm getting started here, I just wanted to let you know that I put in the first comment a link to this week's Summary Sunday so that you can follow along if you want to do that. Um, this week's Summary Sunday was called "Kick Your Job Search into High Gear," and I was inspired to write this because so much of what I've been seeing over the last 2 weeks is that things have really slowed down a lot, right? And it's very hard. Excuse me, that week between Christmas and New Year's is almost like a vacuum. It's hard to know what day of the week it really is. I don't think many people are working. It's just a very strange period of time. Um, and it's easy to lose track of time, and people are just doing stuff with family, I hope, and other activities. So there's not a lot going on, is my point. So that leads to today, which is the first Monday after the new year, and woohoo, here we are, right? I have a huge long list of things that I'm working on. Can you see? For the new year, and I'm really excited about that stuff. That's something about having a fresh start. I am not a fan of New Year's resolutions, and I haven't done one in many years. But I know a lot of people, and many years ago I came across something Chris Brogan wrote called My Three Words. And for several years, I did that as well. So what Chris Brogan did was, instead of again of New Year's resolution, he chose three words that were going to be sort of the foundation of everything that he worked on throughout that year for his business. And I think that, then I did the same thing. I would pick three words that would motivate me, inspire me, or be sort of my guidepost. You know, every time I thought of doing a new project or doing something new, did it fit one of these three words? So it did serve a purpose. And I've now seen people chuck it down to just one word for the new year. So whether you choose three words to guide you for your new year, or you want to use a real New Year's resolution, or you want to just pick one word, I think having some sort of guidepost or focus maybe for the new year to get you started off right and then inspired and motivated, at least something to move forward with, is a great idea. I know that a lot of people don't follow through on their New Year's resolutions of dieting or going to the gym or what all of that stuff is, right? That's normal, but it doesn't mean they don't try during those first 3 or 4 weeks of the month of January. So maybe just trying to have a resolution word will get you going and get you inspired and get you going. I don't know. Worth a try. I didn't do one, but that, do what I say, not what I do. Um, Heidi, good to see you today. Hi, Selena, good to see you. You're also from Rochester. Oh, you're from Boston? Um, you're in Boston. Gotcha. I have family in the Boston area, so good to see you. Good to see you, Selena. The first article that I'm going to talk about, again, it's so much about do what I say, not what I do, because as I was responding, the first article is called, let me just go back to the top, is by Bob McIntosh on things career related. And the article's called It's Unanimous, the top 10 LinkedIn profile headlines from job search experts. So Bob reached out to all of us and said, hey, I want you to do me a favor. Look at these 80 profiles and tell me which are your top 10. Which are the top 10 that you would choose? So I went through and I looked at these headlines, and they were all really good. And it made me realize, as I was using sort of made up criteria in my own head, what makes something good, that mine sucks. My my LinkedIn headline is really, really bad. And at the time, it may not have been so bad, but see, things have a way of changing. And as there's more competition in the marketplace, you have to reevaluate. And as you change your focus, you have to reevaluate. Does my LinkedIn headline still do a good job of telling people what I want them to know about me? And so one of the people commented on Bob's article about these 10 top headlines for job search experts. And he said, you know what, it's not fair. You guys are, these 10 people that you chose are all people who have skills in knowing how to write these headlines. We don't have that. And oh, by the way, they're not real. You've got your own business. You're not like people, like job seekers. So this post really doesn't do me any good. Well, I hear that guy's complaint. I understand. We do have an unfair advantage and we do know what we're doing, but we can also learn a lot by just looking at how these 10 different career job search coaches write about themselves in their LinkedIn headline. That is the point of this exercise. In one of the things that I said to Bob, and he repeated here, is that there are certain things that I found as I was going through some of these headlines that made them all good. And let me share with you what I said. I said, the best LinkedIn headlines explain what the person does and who they serve, plus at least one surprise element. That could be a fun emoji, an achievement, or a fun fact. So it's a combination of those three things, what the person does, who they serve, plus one of those surprise elements. I want you this week to really go back, because that's what I'm going to do this week. After reading this and supplying my feedback, I still have not yet changed mine because it takes some thought. So I'm going to sit down with a piece of paper in a quiet time when I'm at my full maximum mental capacity, which is in the morning, and I'm going to write down a 40 or 50 different, maybe probably 10 different headlines and see which one of those I think is going to work better for me. I might, just saying, I might be using an emoji in there rather than just the pipe, because for the longest time I just used a pipe. And then, you know what, the pipe's a little overused these days, so I want to change it up. So I want you to go look at those LinkedIn profile headlines and see if you get any ideas for what you could do for your own. Let's not get too crazy or trite. There are a lot of people who use this branding statement that doesn't really like, I help make people's lives easier. No, that's not going to work because you haven't told me who you help and who you serve. You can say, I help make the lives of executives easier by managing their email, calendars, blah, 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 whatever it is. But don't just say, I make people's lives easier. That's not effective. That's not a good tagline. So don't use that. Okay. So I'm hoping that you will feel inspired by reading these and looking at those different headlines to see if you can get yourself some ideas. Hi, Gia. Nice to see you. Happy New Year to you as well. And Michael, good to see you. Hey, Colleen, good to see you. Yes, so Carroll County Business Employment Resource Center, thank you for being here and thank you for a plug for the Career One Stops. I have been affiliated. I used to work for Rochester Works and they are phenomenal. Probably one of the Easily, I can say one of the best in the state. They're very innovative and doing really progressive, good stuff to help their job seekers. But I will say, Carroll County Business Employment Resource Center, not all one-stops are created equal. So, some are better than others. So I think part of the lesson learned here is that when things are tough, we need to all up our game a little, and that's what I hope we'll find with some of these one stops that have not been doing the best job possible serving their people, their clients, their customers. So, and I know that Bob McIntosh, who wrote that article we just talked about, he works for an equivalent of a one stop in Massachusetts. So, yeah, one stops can be awesome. They can be great. The next article that I shared in the Summary Sunday was by Donna Spy of Avid Careerist, and she talked about this tool called Reference USA Database. And I hope that you all took time to read it. So one of the things that I've said for a very long time is that your job search should be proactive rather than reactive, which means I want you to create a target list of companies that you want to work for or you think you want to work for, or at least in an industry that you think sounds interesting. And Reference USA makes that possible. You can search for different companies across the United States by zip code, by state, by city, by number of employees, by industry. So if you know that you love working in the same business, the same industry you used to work in, great. You can go find a list of companies that are within a zip code range in that industry, and there you are. You've got a whole list of companies. Some you will know about that were competitors, others you may not have heard of. So Reference USA is a free resource. It's available through your library. All libraries can subscribe, offer to their membership for free, and that's what exactly Donna talks about in this article, that is a free resource. Now, if you live in a very small town with a very small library, they may not have access, but if you talk to the reference librarian or the head librarian at your local library, they will tell you how you can get access through a partner library. Okay, so even though you may not have your local library may not subscribe to or give subscription access to Reference USA, talk to them about how you can get access because that's what they're in the business of doing. And Donna also mentions another database, which is great for people who are interested in working for nonprofits. There's a database called GuideStar.org, and it's a list of almost any and all nonprofits. So please go check out Donna's article with these two databases so that you can be more proactive. So the first thing you do is to find the company. Then you go look at that company on LinkedIn and you see the people that work there and begin finding people that you know that can get you introduced to people who work there. That gives you a week, 2 week, 3 weeks worth of work so that you can speak with an insider. And that is what the goal of your job search should be. Not finding jobs, talking to insiders who will give you the inside scoop. The other article that I shared was by Dorothy Dalton, who's located over in across the pond, as we say. She used to be over in somewhere in Europe, but now I think she's in Dubai, but I don't know where she is right now. Anyway, she writes a regular article, and I love following her stuff. She gets me thinking a lot. And her article was about intertwining Ikigai and career coaching. And if you don't know Ikigai, it is sort of like a Venn diagram. It is the inner the combination of identifying what you love to do, what you're good at, and what the world needs. And in the olden days, we used to just focus on what you love doing and what you're good at. But the really important part is identifying what the world needs so that you can marry those three parts together. So it talks about your passion and your mission and your profession and your vocation. And it's a really nice way for job seekers to really get clear about what parts of their lives intersect and how can they make that into a career. Maybe not right away, but it's something that they can work on. So that was the Ikigai. I'm probably not saying it right, but that's the whole theory of that. And then the last article that I shared, which wasn't even an article at all, was an image, a graphic that Annette Richmond of Career Intelligence put together. And she says in this tweet, and she said on LinkedIn, that setting yourself apart is important in any job market. Today, it's essential. One way to rise above your competition is to set yourself up as a thought leader. And so what I liked about this graphic was that it really walks you through the four, one, two, three, four, five different ways you can set yourself up as a thought leader. So again, it's not a full blowout of an article, but it's more of a concept. Instead of considering yourself somebody on the hunt, put yourself out there as someone to be hunted, somebody who's knowledgeable, in the know, who is well connected and well versed in your industry or your occupation. That's what gets people hired. So I hope that that was, if you haven't looked at that yet, that you do look at that. It was a fun graphic that I enjoyed looking at. Um, Are there, so I'm going to say now, I'm going to ask now if there are any questions that you all have about your week and being motivated and doing what it is you need to do. What questions do you have for me? Which of these articles did you like best? Have you seen my newest article, which is chock full of virtual networking advice? Did anyone see that? That just got launched today. I asked 30 of the job search and career friends, colleagues in my network to share with me their best tip for how to network better virtually, and they didn't disappoint. That really was there lots of really good advice from what to say, who to reach out to, who to follow and track on LinkedIn and the other social networks. Lots of really good ideas for this virtual networking. And I think that we've all been forced to virtually network. But the wonderful thing, and one of the reasons why I asked all of these career coaches, is that they've been virtually networking. We've been virtually networking with each other for years now. We understand the concept of networking virtually. So who better than us to help you understand how to do it. A lot of the advice given is very doable. It's all doable. It's very and step by step. This is what you do. This is how you do it. This is how you approach it. This is what you say. This is your mindset you should have. Um, the, so it's all really good advice. So if you haven't seen this week's article, it's up on my website now. I'm sharing it on LinkedIn and different places. So that's there. But did you have a favorite article from this week's Summary Sunday, or something that you wanted to talk about? Any questions that you all have that you want me to answer? Okay. Well, I know last week I said I wasn't sure what the future of Job Search Live holds. I'm going to continue it. I'm hoping that starting next week I'll have some surprises for you to announce. So stay tuned for that next Monday. Know that you can always watch a repeat of this. This is recorded and put on my Facebook page. You don't need to have a Facebook link. So if you know of somebody that is job searching that would benefit from either my article or the conversation that I had today, please feel free to share that link with them. I just want to make sure that as we head into this new year, that people get the help they deserve and should have to help make them successful. One last plug. Um, I am going to be offering a four sessions, 4 1-hour sessions for motivate. It's called Motivation Monday Job Search Accountability Group. Those the first of the four starts the 11th and it goes through February 1st. So it's the first Monday each Monday from 1 to 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and it is an accountability group. And there's some rules guidelines to follow, but basically it is checking in a very structured, organized format, and a place to go to get your questions answered, not just by me, but by the team of people. So it's a group effort, and I just finished running one. Last week, I loved that group of people, and they are continuing to meet on their own because they found it so helpful. So that is really not a testament to me because they don't need me to keep that group going. They found that the structure and the relationships that they formed over just 4 weeks really helped them feel like they had a path forward and gave them structure and what they needed. So they're going to continue that. So, hey, if you want to be part of something similar, it's starting January 11th, and there is information in this week's at the bottom of this week's Summary Sunday to learn more about it. So there's my plug for that. Um, I don't see any questions. Okay, here's one. Um, So Jennifer, great question. Jennifer asks, after a layoff, when should I update my LinkedIn profile? And so here is the thing. You can update it immediately. What I would not do right now is change the end date of your job. Because when you change the end date, that then makes your profile not current. And LinkedIn likes you to always have a current job listed. So if you end your current job, if you end the job that you lost during COVID and you don't put a new job in there, your profile probably won't rank as high as others out there. So I usually say about 3 months is what you can use as a time frame. So if you lost your job within the last 3 months, there's no need to change that job listing. But if it's been more than 3 months, you really should do end that job, say that it ended, and create a new job. I wrote an article, and I'm going to see if I can find it, but it offers 3 different ways to add a new job to your LinkedIn profile when you're unemployed. So I'm going to find that and share that. The idea is you want to make sure that you always have a current job listed. In other words, there's a job listed. Um, and I'm trying to find this as I'm talking, and that's not always working. So the other thing to be aware of is at any time, you can always change your headline. Right? So if you decide that you don't want to keep your old headline, change that at any time, and there's no big deal with that. So if that's what I would recommend changing today, if you were lost your job, is definitely change your headline so that that reflects where you want to go next. That should do that. So here is, I'm putting in the comments now. Um, Jennifer, I just put in the comments three options to update your headline. So update your job title. I think a lot of people don't put enough time and energy into how they're listing their job, and it's not just the work experience. Your job title can be about 120 characters. So rather than just listing the job title, do more to describe what it is you do. Use the job title, but talk about the department you are in, or the knowledge you have, or the certification that's relevant to that job. So you use more descriptors in your job title on LinkedIn. Oh yeah, Maria got an had to put an end date because she got congratulations on an anniversary, which is embarrassing, right? Um, yeah. So that's also a reason that you want to change that. So read that article that I put in the comments about 3 options to update your current job when you've lost a job. That'll give you 3 different ways. it really is based on what you feel good about, but the bottom line is you always want to have a job that speaks to what you do now. And it's not, I'm a job seeker now. So I hope that helps. Um, okay, Kelly, thank you. All right. So if there, I'm just trying to read through some of the other questions. Thank you, Gia. I That's good to know that people in Massachusetts are following me. I appreciate that. Any other thoughts, questions? Um, if not, I want to wish you a great week. I hope that you found this week's Summary Sunday helpful, hopeful, and I hope that you found today's article on virtually networking advice. I hope you found that helpful too. If you have topics or suggestions for future either conversations or articles, let me know in the comments. Drop me a note. I'd love to hear from you and have a great week. Happy Monday. Happy New Year.